Hello, my name is Vibu, and I'm mentor of Fast Track students in International College of Financial Planning. I'm a CFP myself, so this video, small video, is aimed at helping you all in terms of understanding what is a challenge pathway or a fast track pathway, right? So FPSB, which is the Financial Planning Standard Board, has a system wherein by which people who are qualified enough with a post graduation in MBA finance or chartered accountants or CFA professionals themselves, and who have worked in the BFSI sector, which is banking, financial, and your insurance sectors, right? Banking, financial services, and insurance sector. If you have been employed for more than 3 years, then you could be eligible for fast track, where you can straight away appear for the fourth level of exam, and you will be submitting a project and clearing this exam to get certified, because the regular pathway has 4 levels of exam, and the fast track pathway will have just one level of exam, which is the final level of exam, and the project to clear. So this is the biggest advantage for fast track, where FPSB considers people who are from this background to be experienced enough to understand the nuances, which are the basic nuances, to be appearing for the last level directly. So this is what is your, we can also help you understand with a soft check in terms of whether you are eligible for the fast track pathway depending upon your qualification and your experience, right? And who should choose fast track? Like, this is a very common question, like, if I'm being employed in a banking, in a wealth management sector, or if I'm in an AMC, or even if I'm in a bank and I'm not in wealth, or if I'm in wealth, I'm a relationship manager who is always having a targets to chase in terms of book building and stuffs like that. So this CFP will take you more towards the product role. It will kind of make you get into the product level of investment counseling and understanding what is an asset allocation and advising clients. Even if it is at a client facing scope, it will get you understand in terms of how do you kind of move more towards the product, so that your growth does not get hindered, but it comes with a relatively lesser pressure than a sales role, which is in terms of book building. So, and then what is the duration and the learning format, and how ICOFP makes fast track actually work? So, if you talk about the duration, typically the module classes, which covers about 6 module classes, like your time value of money, investment planning, retirement, taxation, and insurance analysis, and estate planning. This runs for about, like, for 3.5 to 4.5 months, depending upon certain, because these classes are predominantly loaded into the weekends and some classes in the weekdays, depending upon the schedule of the candidates and also the faculty, so that the course, the modules can be finished in a faster manner, right? So the classes go for around like 3.5 to 4.5 months, depending upon the individual batch schedule. And then you prepare for the exam at least for a period of 2 months, because it requires a very extensive preparation. So on an overall basis, you could consider about 6 to 7 months for you to take all the classes and also get done with the certification, including clearing the project as well. So that is the kind of timeline that we are looking at. And why ICOFP for this is because, like, we have an extensive understanding of how this program works. We have been having a lot of students that are passing out from us. A lot of our alumni are employed in multiple leading banks at very higher positions, both in the private banks and public sector banks, and also in a lot of AMCs and private wealth management firms. So we understand the time challenges, we understand the kind of focus that is required for such working professionals, and we also provide a framework which makes the whole exam and the project experience very accessible, and we break it down into multiple components so that it is easier for the candidate to focus. Rather than looking at it at a very holistic level, we try to break it down into multiple scope and components, so that the candidate is able to relate to each of the component, and whatever is their weak areas or whatever is their focus areas where they'll have to spend more energy and time to get those rectified, that is easily identifiable and it is easily addressable, which is the most tangible aspect of the framework pattern that we have developed for the students who come or who appear from the fast track pathway. And what are the career opportunities? As I said, in terms of from going from a sales role to a product related role is something which is already that's the most common aspect when you do CFP, which if you're already in the banking sector and if you're already in this industry, so you would be able to relate to that better in terms of how movement towards a product role could make your career lot better and also not compromising on the remunerative part, right? And we have a lot of support which is beyond the classes in terms of mentoring. We have a lot of weekend classes for refreshers. After the module classes are over, we have about 15 to 16 refresher classes for you to be kind of taking the basic concepts again through classes. And we have about 4 mock tests before you appear for the final exam, which kind of is very extensive in terms of you getting the practice which is required to clear the exam in a successful manner at the first go. Now, there are a lot of myths about this. I'm not sure whether if I will be able to take this. I'm not sure if I will be able to manage. I have people who have been working in very senior positions who have successfully cleared despite their busy schedules and despite them managing multiple lakhs of crores in their portfolio. So it's always a question of the intent. As long as you have the intent, as long as you can commit yourself to a certain timeline from your end, we are here to help you break this down into multiple small components so that you are able to create that focus which is required to clear the exam. So you should kind of bust all your myths yourself without even we coming forward to talk about them. So, as I said, the most interesting aspect is in terms of what is it in for me? Like, if you are a professional, if you are trying to look at a career upliftment, then this is where you are, in terms of if you are wanting clarity and if you're wanting a very clear roadmap in terms of where would you like to see yourself in the next 3 years after being in this industry for so many years, and you already know that there is a lot of evolution which is happening in the wealth space where the AUMs are crossing 80 lakh crores in the mutual fund space. There are a lot of PMSs that are coming in. There are a lot of AAFs that are coming in. There are a lot of private wealth management firms with a single client ticket size of more than 10 crores, 15 crores that are coming into play, where the aspect of fixed income securities, asset allocation, rebalancing, and also asset recategorization, even beyond the normal financial assets in terms of recategorizing the real estate and stuffs like that. Will writing is a trend now. So all of this is a part of CFP, is a gold standard program when it comes to personal finance. So if you have reached till this stage of the video, then you have been patient enough to hear it through. So I think the next step that you should do is you should just ring one of our counselors whose number is being given down below in the screen and enroll yourself for this program. I would like to see you all soon in the program. Thank you.